PGL Antwerp Major has now concluded, with Rain receiving the MVP, but with also an incredible performance from all of the members from FaZe. They made the finals look fairly easy in comparison to games against NIP and Spirit, for example, but one thing I picked up on from the Inferno game against Navi is that Broky actually likes using the AWP on the T side. Now, if you don't really know this, it's fairly odd because at a lot of top tier AWPers like Shiro, Simple and Zywoo, for example, will actually prefer to swap running out the 5 rifles due to simply the challenges that you face on the T side on Inferno with the AWP. We're going to be looking into how Broky uses this AWP on the T side versus Navi in the close game on Inferno, as we saw in the finals. But before we start, I would like to shout out my Twitter, so if any of you have any questions guys, my DMs are always open, so you can head over there if that interests you at all. Broky won't actually get his hands on an AWP until the 6th round against Navi due to how the reigns played out beforehand for FaZe. As you guys can see, Broky has the best spawn for Banana, and I'll use this to the best advantage by holding W up towards logs, jumping up in an attempt to catch a CT off who may be throwing the early utility, as you know, on the CT side. This is a very aggressive play due to the fact if the CT side are also going for an aggressive Banana take and you miss your shot, you're basically a sitting duck. However, if you're an aggressive AWPer like Broky, then I don't see why you shouldn't be trying this out. Broky will be playing the role that you would all expect from an AWPer on the T side on Inferno or on any other map, to be honest with you as well. Being far back, throwing pieces of utility for his team, while also being the bomb boy, just making sure it gets towards the sites where it needs to go. Another fairly aggressive play that Broky did on round 7 is just by running up middle and taking as much space as possible. Before doing this, however, he makes sure to throw a flash over middle to push back Simple if he is on the corner watching this angle. I think Broky would have gone all the way to brackets, to be honest here, if the CT side didn't smoke him off, to be honest with you, but because of this, Broky then pulls his attention towards bedroom instead. Later on in the round, Broky and his team are able to start contesting for brackets control. Using a flash just like we see out of Broky here is a great example of how to be pushing back an AWPer or also then taking up the angle straight away afterwards. All Broky now has to be doing is just keep a hold of this angle while his team has the chance now to move up further towards brackets. Being patient is key here, just holding for an extended period of time will finally result in you getting that entry that you're looking for. Following this kill on towards Simple and Long, we start to see that hyper aggressive AWP come out of Broky, taking out Bit on towards Short, and then from the information for another CT towards Pit he has from his team, just being happy to walk up and take the fight on towards Electronic, resulting in the 3k for Broky. This gives FaZe the round win, forcing Navi to save. In this round, Broky has one of the worst spawns to get on the T side. Because of this, he doesn't really go for anything early, and instead just making sure to get handed over the bomb from Karrigan, then going towards bridge. This is just in case the CT goes for an aggressive second mid take. Broky then will be boosted up in this position, and I'm sure many of you have even looked or even spoken about this already, but this is the position that Broky is displayed that can be used to throw a moto smoke and also very powerful flashes for apartments. He uses multiple times throughout this game against Navi, and it almost always resulted in a round win. To throw the smoke, you want to be getting in the back corner, aiming at the bottom right of this window while using a jump throw bind. For the flashes, just aim at the top of this window here and step jump throw, and if you really want, you can have multiple flashes dropped from your teammates up there as well if you're wanting to just keep throwing a beret and a mirage of these flashes over. Once again, Broky will go for the aggressive banana peek towards logs. Again, however, unfortunately not resulting in an entry kill for the team. From this, Broky will then fall back and just be looking for any other picks towards banana that he could be getting. As soon as Twist falls to boomage, FaZe decide to commit towards the A side of the map. One thing I just love watching in this aggression from Broky, if you're wanting to run with an AWP on the T side of Inferno, you need to be that type of player just willing to do crazy things with the AWP. Going in first sometimes, looking for that pick, and unfortunately Broky does whiff the shot into Perfecto here. However, in another world, this shot would have hit. Now, even though FaZe actually have a big round lead at this point in the game, the money does start to break for the side of the T's. Being forced into this eco round, then forced with a bad bite into the next, FaZe go for this explosive brackets take, however get shut down immediately from the side of Navi. FaZe now have to reconsider their options a little bit, with having very little utility left in the round and also not the best weaponry. They make the decision to go for a horse pop, boosting Broky back into the position we saw before. Just from how powerful these flashes are that I explained earlier, you can see even on not the best weapons and low utility, you can make it work and give yourself a round win. Because of this, Broky is actually able to pick up an AWP in his hands for the final round of the half. However, not a lot really happens in this round due to Twist and Carrigan falling early in Banana, leaving it down to an immediate 3v5 for FaZe. Just from looking at that one game against Navi, I found that the majority of things that Broky actually does are quite consistent, with sometimes going for those aggressive plays going up Banana or middle that we've covered. About 90% of the time, he will just be the player who has thrown the utility for his team, while also making sure to get in positions to cover his team while they are clearing out other areas of the map, like brackets for example. If you're wanting to run an AWP on the T side on Inferno, I would suggest some things you should consider before doing so. The first one being that, does it actually fit your playstyle in the first place in terms of dealing with close quarter situations and also being able to adapt very well throughout the round. The second thing you should also consider is if you're playing within a team or pug environment. I feel running the AWP on the T side of Inferno would work really well if you have a team that can play around it, but within pugs, I feel this really shouldn't be considered at all, to be honest with you. I'm sorry this video is so short, as I just wanted to cover this one map against Navi in the final, as I wanted to demonstrate the top level that you can still AWP on the T side of Inferno and make it work. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been Glaze, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.